Okay, so in this video what we're going to do is we're going to use Photoshop to complete your logo project and put it onto some mock-ups. So as an example here I have this file and so this is a student's file here. You can see at the bottom this was what their original kind of looked like, and then on top they had drawn in numerous different layers. You can see all the layers on the side here, some of their logo. So what we're going to do to bring it to the next stage of things is I'm going to go up to the top layer. You can see here in my layers panel I click on the top layer once, scroll down, hold shift, click this bottom layer, the last one that was actually drawn by the student, not the last two that have the picture and the white background. But you see I have all these selected, and at that point I'm going to now click and drag them onto this little folder icon at the bottom of the layers panel. And once I've done that, you'll see they go in a little group, and they're all organized. They are still there. I'm going to now take that group, drag and drop it to the new layer button. It's going to click, and there we go. We got a copy of it now to copy it. This first one here that says group 1, I'm going to hide that in case we need the original. But this top one, I am going to now right click on this and select merge group. That will flatten all of the layers that are inside that merged group 1 copy. Now that they're all flat, you can see if I hide it, they disappear. I put it back on, there they are. I'm going to now use one of my selection tools. And I'll probably use just the lasso tool here, keep it simple, and I'm just going to go around the crown here, then right click, layer via cut. That's going to cut that out onto its own layer. That's on layer 5 now. The crown's by itself on layer 5. Then I'm going to go back to group 1 copy, and this time I'm going to select out the one that says the Don, and then right click and layer via cut. So now I have 3 layers at the top, 1, 2, and 3. Now if you want to bring these together at all you have to do is use your move tool. You can select layer by layer, move the pieces around, and put them wherever you'd like them to be. If you want one on top of the other, simply drag the layer on top of another, and there, now this one is in front. I'm going to zoom into this one just to show you a little bit more, and that is that any layer that you have, so for example here layer 6 that says the Don on it, if I double click in this gray area, I'm going to get the layer styles panel which pops up here on my screen. From there you'll see all these options on the left hand side. You will also see more if you hit that little FX button at the bottom. There's more to choose from. But just for now, just to show you, I'm going to go to the word stroke here. And you see that I click on the word stroke, and here on the right hand side it gives me all the options for the stroke, the structure, and the fill type. Here it has black as my color. I'm going to click on it and choose a color directly from the actual logo here. So instead of trying to find the color here in the color picker, instead I'm going to go over to the logo and just click on it. So I got that same color. The only thing is that this logo here has a little black on the outside. For me to do both colors, so I have one stroke now that has that kind of maroon color at a 6-point outside stroke, opacity 100, right? I already have that one on there. I could add another stroke right underneath it. I could hit this little plus button to get it, or right now I have one right here. And you can see here I added on this one a black stroke, 9-point stroke, a little bit larger, and it kind of shows up like that. And that looks pretty good for now. So this is based on 2 different layers, these 2 layers right here, 6 and 5. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit and just shrink this down just to put it in the top little corner right here. Make sure, of course, that you save your work as you go. And then you will also see, and I'm going to put this up on Google Classroom as well, but there are some files here that I'm going to be giving you in class, and these files allow you to have some mock-up looks at things. First I'm going to give you a van like this. It says 45-degree angle, and it's kind of like a truck, I guess, but the van itself I'm going to give you. I don't know why it's not coming up. It's a little too slow right now. I have some energy drink ones and some others. So what I'm going to do actually is open up the energy drink and the van. You know what, I'll do the energy drink first. I'm just going to double click that and let that open up for us. Okay, so once the van opens up, the best thing to do, you know, typically in class, if you go to Window and Application Frame, Photoshop sort of stays together. You know, it's grouped together in this group like this. For this part of the project, I recommend going to Window and unchecking Application Frame so that it is off. And this way, you can shrink these little windows. You can zoom out, do Command minus, and zoom out a little bit. Then we can bring those down a little bit. And now you can kind of see both files at the same time. So what I always tell everybody is, you know, if I click this file, you see the layers for it here on the right hand side. In fact, this one says side, roof, hood, and front. Those are the different parts of the van that you can customize. These are little smart object icons that right on these thumbnails right here, and that means that there's kind of like a file built into this file. And so I'm going to explain what that means. If I click on this one, though, you see that I can see my logo layers. All right, so I go back over to the van. I click on the van file, and I see my van layers. I'm going to go to this one that says side, and you'll notice that this little thumbnail where you see this large pink box, I'm going to double-click that. And when I do that, I get a third file that pops up, and if I drag that file apart, now this file is actually the side of the van. I'm going to zoom out on this one, too. And you can hopefully still see it. So this is actually the side of the van. What you have to do is customize this by adding graphics, changing colors, doing whatever you like to it, and then you must save it. And if you save this, it will then show up on the van. So for example, if I go back to the logo file, this one here, I can take those layers, layer 6 and layer 5. I'm going to hold command to select 6 and then hold command and select 5. Sorry, so they're both selected. I'm then going to drag these files out and onto that side panel. Once I do, you see them sitting right there. Very good. If I go to File and Save now, you'll notice that it shows up here on the side of the truck. Now, as I go back to this file, I can continue to do things like Command T, resize it, move it around, rotate it, save it again, and then go back to the truck and take a look at what it looks like on the truck. So every time you save the smart object, it will then show up on the actual file. What else can you do? Well, if I'm on this piece here, I could go to that layer, for example, the crown, or even layer 2, or both of them, and I could give it an outer glow or another stroke, or you can kind of see here. I'll show you some examples here. And you can change colors and make it go really bright and all this different stuff. So you can kind of see I just added a little flare, I guess, to the crown itself. And then again, Command S and save, and then you can see what it looks like here on the side of the truck. What else can you do? Well, at the bottom of your layers panel here, and this is for the side panel that I'm working on here, instead of having this pink, I could hide the pink and then go down to the bottom and choose solid color or gradient from this list. Choose the color that I'd like. There's a lot of options. Or you can make your own. On this slider, you can slide these back and forth. You can click on the line to add as many as you would like. You can double click each one and change their color. You can pull down to delete the color. So for example, if I wanted this to be, dark to just kind of violet like that. So I just made a new one. I'm going to hit new to add it to the list. I'm going to hit OK. I can change the angle of it. You see what's happening up here. I can change the angle of it as much as I would like. Hit OK and then hit save. Shows up on the side of my truck. The only problem is I put it on top of the crown, so I got to take that gradient layer from this file and move it underneath the crown. There we go, and then save again. Now, the information that you should have on the side of this really should be information that's going to help sell your product. People need to know what this is. Is it an energy drink? Is it something else? So use your text tool, click and type in what you would like. Like in this case, I'm going to put energy drink. I will select it, resize it so it's words you can actually see. So, you might put #1 energy drink or something interesting. You might want to select it, change the font up top to something more interesting. You can, of course, change the color to whatever you'd like. You could also double click the layer and give it a stroke or an outer glow or any of those things that we already talked about. All right. And then you have it in this frame, and it's just a matter of taking the move tool and moving it wherever you think it would work. So I might do Command T and rotate this and resize it, move it over here, and then I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to look back at my truck and take a look. You can also, as a final step, you can add pieces from online. You can find any kind of image that you would like to try and use on this. So I could just do castle icons or something, just to keep with the theme of the crown, right? Find something interesting, click on this, Click, drag, and drop. I'm not worried about copyright issues in this particular case because this is just an in-class project and we're not making any money here. Okay, so you kind of put this in the background perhaps. Now when I put this in the background, just so you see, it's now covering the gradient, but that's on layer 3. But if I was to change the blending mode, you see it gives us all of these new kind of looks to the background. Maybe like that would be kind of cool, right? And then you can sort of blend this out if you'd like. You use a little eraser tool maybe with a soft edge to it and just kind of blur it out like this. And then save. And then look back at your truck. So this is the way that these files work. It's the same as the other files that I'm going to post on Google Classroom for you. That includes the energy drink file, which looks like 2 cans, and then the ice cream also. They work the exact same way. They have files in them. I'll just give you one example of that now. Just open up the energy drink just to show you what that looks like. And once you have done some for the van, you could then trade files between any other files in Photoshop. So like I can take stuff that I've done for the van and bring it into the can. And I'll show you that once this opens, hopefully quick. I'm going to close this out while I'm doing it. Give this a second here. Okay, so sorry about that. So with the way that this works is that when it opens up, it looks like this, similar to the van, right? You can, make it smaller. You'll see it as a separate file, just like I did here with the van, right? Okay. So on the cans, though, I'm on the cans right now. You'll see the bottom one here. It says Mockup 1. If I double-click that, here is the label for the can, and I can pull that out. And then I can arrange it anywhere I want, put my logo on it, do any of that stuff. This one was the side of the van that I was doing. So I could take any of the layers from here. Like, for example, I could take layers 2 and 1 and drag those onto the can. And once they're on the can, you can do Command-T, and you can resize and rotate and do all that kind of stuff. And then you save it and you look back at the cans. Now obviously what's in the background we don't want anymore, so when I go back to that I gotta hide that and then save again. And you can see now it shows up white here on the actual can itself. So you continue to do the same sort of thing. You grab all of those different layers and things you want to put on the can, you put them on the can, you move them around, you resize them if you need to, like this. You put them underneath if they're in the way. You got to move your layers around quite a bit to kind of figure things out as best you can, and then save it and look back at your can and check it out and see how it looks. I would also recommend looking at actual cans of energy drinks and look at the front and the back. Front of energy drink can, right? And back, or whatever. You do it like this. You take a look, you go to some images, and you see what they have on there. I mean, a lot of these companies are putting, how much percentage juice, or how much caffeine is it, or if it's a high performance drink, or the size of it is also important. Like this one tells you the flavor, 16 fluid ounces, potent for brain and body fuel. Like it gives you a little bit of information about it. So you want to try to do the same thing when you get here, which means that when you're on this file, you might want to add some things to it, right? You might want to take your text tool and add, 21 fluid ounces or something, right? Select it, make it a little smaller, and you can do a lot of the same stuff. Maybe just make it, put a stroke around it, make it a little thinner, a little smaller. And then move these pieces. Like here to the bottom, 21 fluid ounces or 24, save it, look back at your drink, see what it looks like. You see it right there? This one on the right hand side should be the back of the can. So the back of the can would most likely have a barcode, things of that nature, nutrition facts, some color, maybe the logo again on the back. So that's the way you're going to do them. And the ice cream ones work exactly the same way, right? Ice cream ones, going to save this. Not going to save this. But the ice cream ones have files inside of them, and they work exactly the same way. You double click on them, you open them up, and you change what they say. You change the graphics, you change the color, you add information, and then make sure you save it. Once you are totally complete and done with everything, you will bring it to me, and we will create a final board that looks something like this. In its final state, it will look more like this, where we see your van, your can, your logo, and the colors that you used all within one page with your name on it as a label. That is it. Look for these files, the can, the ice cream, and the truck, on Google Classroom in this project. You should be able to open them and then download them.